working out what works, what doesn't work. We noticed in the last 2 deliveries, we missed it by a couple of weeks each time.
Cloud Imperium raises an additional $17.25 million from existing investors, the Calders family, Snoot Entertainment, and CIG Investment. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? We're going to talk about the facts, the numbers, and a little speculation on my part as to why we're seeing this now. Is it good? Is it bad? We'll talk about it after these messages. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. Hello everybody, welcome back. Yes, the Calders are back. They're coming in and investing again. Why? Well, we'll talk about that, or why I believe they are, after we go over the numbers here. We can see on the UK side of things that there was an additional 58,379 total shares released on the UK side of things, being that this is Companies House and everything is required to be open to the public. We are able to look at the numbers directly. This does not account for cash on the state side of things, but this at least gives us an opener as to what's going on the UK side of things. The total amount that we're talking about here in the UK is 6.6 million pounds, which equates to somewhere around $8.2 million USD. So 9 million or so that's not being accounted for, that would most likely be US side of things. So we can see that the shares are being discounted seriously from prior pricing. The initial 46 million had the share price much higher than what we're seeing here. And I believe that has a lot to do with what we saw all the way up until this announcement. I think what we're seeing here, and this is speculation on my part, the stipulations in a prior contract agreement made by the Calders and CIG, who opened the door for the Calders to get involved. And basically, I believe that it's a stipulation in a financial contract that says if Squadron 42 did not hit deadlines within a year, that in fact Calders could come in and buy an additional 5 to 10% of the company at a discounted rate, which would explain the statement that we're seeing in Cloud Imperium's announcement on their website, where it says Chris Roberts continues to maintain full control of the board and group. To give those that are interested in this type of news, Chris still holds the main control of the company. Just because we're seeing an additional amount of shares come into existence and we're seeing additional ownership increases from the Calders, Chris continues to maintain full control now and will always. Now, I have to question though, obviously being somebody that's giving an analysis of the situation, that, deadlines being missed might explain the reason why we're seeing this announcement. We saw staggered development hit. Staggered development, I think, was Chris pushing Aaron to get this done by the deadlines. We saw the Pillar Talk where Aaron was on Pillar Talk. It did not look reassuring. We said, wow, Aaron really looked dunderheaded in this. He didn't understand what was needed to get Squadron 42 done. It was very lackluster. It was a really bad Pillar Talk. And then right after that, we saw staggered development, which I think was Chris pushing on Aaron, and Aaron saying, okay, let me find a way to elevate the schedule to get these deadlines out. We're going to look at staggered development as a cure, as something that might help us get those deadlines that we want from our roadmap. And we know the roadmap's a complete mess right now. They're editing it. They're rehashing it. I think it has to do with what we're seeing here in this investment from the Calders coming in at a discount, getting this very discounted price on these shares. I'm sure they're loving it. I think Chris might have even, begrudgingly said, okay, he might not have been happy with this, but it was part of the financial contract. Calders come in and, hey, at least Calders put money back into this, so they still believe that this is something that's going to get out the door. And now they're getting great discounted prices on these shares, and they're owning slightly more of Cloud Imperium games. But this should have been discussed with the community, that this contract, they're private. They didn't have to do this, but I think it would have been a good thing to discuss this. And I think what I would like to see from Chris is him sitting down in front of the camera talking this out to us, so that this just isn't just speculation, but to be very honest with us, tell us what's happening. Let us know exactly what's going on directly from Chris without a script from Ortwin. We just want what is going on. Very man to man. Tell us exactly what's going on. This is me speculating that I think this is a contractual stipulation in the prior contract from the $46 million originally invested from the Calders. So we do have the $9 million amount that is not accounted for. That's most likely stateside. That is the U.S. side of things. It's an additional 5%. So we would have like a 10% overall. Because of this issuance, we're probably seeing about a 10% increase in ownership by the Calders, which would make their ownership of Cloud Imperium currently somewhere around 20%. Now, we can go over the numbers. I'll put some of that down in the description below. I'll put all links to files down below. But this is my best educated analysis. It's a guess. It's speculation on exactly why we're seeing this announcement. It isn't really good news. It isn't really bad news. The only bad news is that, we can see, because deadlines weren't hit, that Aaron is no longer the lead of Squadron 42.
Come November, December, me and Chris and Aaron talking and looking across the projects and seeing how things were structured. We said, okay, with Squadron the size it is and what we want it to be as far as how it lives up there as far as expectations, it absolutely needed some more dedicated focus. So I am now primarily focusing on Squadron 42. Aaron's now primarily focused on the PU.
Chris probably demoted him and said, hey, we didn't hit the deadlines. You're stepping down. It makes sense. We're seeing this put in a good light by Cloud Imperium that, hey, we're getting an additional $17.25 million, but they don't exactly explain why, what's happening, and why the discount in the share price. This is, again, speculation. And sometimes I don't like to get into this news because I report this news and people think I'm being negative on the game, and I'm not. I absolutely love the project. I want to make that very clear. So, but when I do financial videos, it tends to turn some people off and they think that I'm completely negative on the project, and I am not. I just want to put this news out there. It is my responsibility to put this news out there. It's what I do. And I think it's important for those that are interested in this news that they have it, and also some commentary as to why they think it's happening. We're not getting the why from Cloud Imperium. So I think it's really important that Chris does step up and say, hey, this is exactly why the investment has come in. We saw these record-breaking revenues in 2019, which is great. This makes me a little nervous. I want to see the profit and loss coming from Cloud Imperium. You guys know that I'm very much looking forward to seeing 2019's profit and loss. Another speculative jab at this might be the fact that Chris asked for more money. So this might not be a contractual stipulation from the prior investment of the $46 million. This might be Chris asking for more money. And, this could be because that expenses are outpacing revenue. So that's another speculative jab at this. I think the first is a little bit more credible versus this because of the revenues that we saw in 2019, but we have seen P&Ls every year, and we have seen this Cloud Imperium posting losses every single year despite their revenues. And so that's why I think 2019 is really important. When a company continues to post losses on their P&Ls, it's harder for the company to get credit from a bank or a loan from a bank. And I don't think Chris would want to take on additional liability and additional credit. The percentage rates for these loans is astronomical. And since they just paid those off, I doubt they want to take that type of debt back on. So they would have approached the Calders and said, hey, we would like an additional investment from you if you guys are down for that, and we will discount these shares for you. So that, again, like I'm saying, is another speculative jab at what this could be. These are the two theories that I have as to why we're seeing this announcement. This isn't just like, hey, we got an additional $17.25 million. There's a reason why this announcement is out, and people need to question it. So I really would like to see Chris come out with something publicly rather than this kind of very general bland statement here. He doesn't have to. They're a private company, but I think it would be in good taste, and it would help the confidence of those that back them, especially us that are very interested in this project and want to see this dream become a reality. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for the time that you've spent watching this video. Tell me what you think below. I would love to see what you have to say, and perhaps we'll discuss this on a future stream. I would like to thank all of you for supporting this channel in these very difficult times. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next vid or stream.